This Sunday is NXT TakeOver, and it's those famous two words. That's right, we are talking War Games today here on SCW. Thank you for choosing the channel, choosing the video. Please subscribe right now, leave in the comments in the comments section. Please like and share the video as well, and let me know your comments in the comments section of who you think are the winners this Sunday for NXT TakeOver War Games. I'd like to know your winners and losers going into the show. But the second half of this video will be focused on the War Games matches. The first half will be the prediction of the undercard of the show. So yeah, I'm going to give my feelings, my thoughts now. I'm going to start with the North American Championship triple threat match we've got. We've got the champion, the surprise champion of Leon Ruff against Damien Priest and Johnny Gargano. Now this has been fun the way it's been put together. Of course, Johnny Gargano won the NXT North American Championship at Halloween Havoc from Damien Priest. There was a ghost face that helped him do that at the time, and we wasn't sure who it was at one point, but of course there was a second ghost face that was helping Candice LeRae, which proved to be Indy Hartwell. There seems to be another one that is still assisting Johnny Gargano, but of course Johnny, he got cocky. He can't defend any championship he ever wins. He did a will, which of course he wasn't a fan of wills, then he loved wills after winning the championship, had a fixed championship match with Leon Ruff, lost the match where Leon Ruff became the new North American Championship, which was due to Damien Priest's involvement. No Ghostface at that point, ironically enough. But this is something they've then built everything going towards. Then Leon Ruff has kind of been the fluky debuting champion. There's still been problems with Damien Priest and Johnny Gargano, and I did wonder for the longest time if they were going to cancel each other out when it comes to this takeover match, and that Leon Ruff would walk away still the North American champion. But in this last week, we've had, just going past now of NXT, Leon Ruff picked up the victory before the show, which normally is not a great omen. And as well, Damien Priest was a part of this team. They both Legado de Fantasma in a tag team match. Johnny Gargano was on commentary, and there was not only one Ghostface, there were two. Makes you wonder if there's a tag team involved. Now, for the longest time, I've said that Austin Theory would be one of the men under the mask. It will be interesting if there is a second person under that mask, because I do believe that NXT is looking to reinvigorate their tag team division. They realise that is their weakest point of the show, and maybe Austin Theory will have a new tag team partner, maybe Johnny Gargano will have a stable, maybe it'll be the Gargano family, almost like if you take AEW's Nightmare Family, could have a whole bundle of people in there. Candice, of course, is Mrs. Gargano with Indy Hartwell. It could be like a mixed gender stable, which could be quite fun going forward. But to make a prediction for you for this show, I'm going for Johnny Gargano. I think we're going to get at least one reveal, and I think Austin Theory will be that reveal. And what I think will be fun from this is that, of course, Leon Ruff not had the longest reign as champion, but it gives him and Damien Priest someone to fight after this, not just Johnny Gargano. We could have these other two guys that are underneath the masks, and we can see where that takes going forward. But certainly, it's an exciting way that this has been put together. I think it's a fun triple threat match. Hopefully, it should be a great way where it's placed in the show. Should be hopefully a show stealer of the normal matches that are put in place. Elsewhere, we've got a strap match with Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes taking on one another. And I must admit, I haven't really been so into this feud, mainly because of the fact that with Halloween Havoc, they had the Haunted House of Terrors match going on. And for me, it kind of took away from what NXT represents. When you see the zombies and the sports entertainment side of things, that's not really what NXT is all about. So I found myself not fully connecting with everything that's been going on in this rivalry. What I will say I have enjoyed, though, is the fact that with Cameron Grimes, of course, he plays that, whiny heel so well and being scared of Dexter Lumis. Dexter has that unique twist of being a babyface with this freakish character that he's got. So they have got elements of what makes this rivalry work. And of course, it does need a finish, because Cameron Grimes has continued to go after Dexter Lumis after Halloween Havoc. And they did even have what was arguably a questionable blindfold match as well. I do like the blindfold stipulation, but the way it was executed, again, wasn't perfect for my liking. But looking for then a result here at the pay-per-view, this needs to be the conclusive finish for it, and it can't go any further than this. I think Dexter Lumis picks up the victory. He goes on to bigger and better things in NXT. Cameron Grimes, he doesn't need the win. He's got a great little spot in NXT, and I think he can carry on with a new rivalry with someone else in the babyface run. Maybe someone like Leon Ruff would be quite a a possible candidate in the early part of 2021. Could be an interesting feud there. So we'll have to wait and see what will happen. But I do think that our winner from this will be Dexter Lumis. Elsewhere, we've got Tommaso Ciampa against Timothy Thatcher. This should be hard hitting. I'm really looking forward to this match. They've got a great clash of styles, and of course, Tommaso Ciampa was the volunteer this week for Thatcher's Catch Can, and of course, actually Timothy Thatcher made Ciampa pass out, which it was a very nice little way to build this to the pay-per-view. I think it's going to be a solid match. What I will say is, though, I think Tommaso Ciampa walks away the victory. Kind of like the last match, Timothy Thatcher has his own little area in NXT, somewhere nicely in the mid-card. It will help him if he wins, but it doesn't hurt him if he loses. He's kind of got a niche area where I think he's kind of safe at this particular point in NXT. Tommaso Ciampa, on the other hand, I think needs the victory. If I look at the NXT roster right now, why I think one area it's kind of suffering. We said about tag teams already, but I think the main event picture has been lacking in recent months. I mean, since Keith Lee went to the main roster, we've had Karrion Kross that was an injured NXT champion. Finn Balor's been injured. You know, Adam Cole was there for 400 days, but of course now is involved with Pat McAfee coming up very shortly in the video. And you look at this and say that there's not so many top-end contenders for the NXT Championship when Balor is back in at this moment. So I think Ciampa at this moment is someone that would be quite handy in the main event scene, and I could quite like to see Balor versus Ciampa if that was to be the direction going forward, if Karrion Kross isn't back as of yet. So for that reason, I think Ciampa needs the victory more, so I'm going to go for Tommaso Ciampa to pick up the W here. So we've done the regular matches, let's go into the War Games matches, shall we? Let's explain War Games very quickly. It's 2 rings, of course, surrounded by a steel cage. The rings are connected together, which is always a fun looking element anyway when you do see it. And of course we'll have 2 teams of 4, and we'll have 1 member each starting off for 5 minutes in those rings going 1-on-1. There will be an advantage for one team over the other, so we will get, after the first 5 minutes, we'll get 1 entrant of one team come in, then every 3 minutes it will be then 2-on-2, 3-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4 will be the way it will finish it off. And of course we have one team with an advantage, which we'll come to when we talk to the matches. But of course, when everyone is in the ring, that's when the War Games officially begins. You can only win via pinfall or submission. If you escape the cage, it is seen as surrender, so the other team will pick up the victory. There are no rules. Weapons can come into play. Usually they do. There has been some fantastic spectacles, as we've seen throughout the previous years of War Games since its return to NXT a number of years ago now. But of course, let's go into the women's match first off, shall we? We've got Team Shotzi against Team Candice. Shotzi Blackheart's team, of course, has the advantage going into War Games here. Her team has the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. We've got Rhea Ripley, and we've got Ember Moon, a stacked looking team, that one. Candice's team, not so bad itself, let me tell you. We've got the heel turn of Toni Storm. She's joined this team. We've got Dakota Kai, of course, turned heel in War Games last year. What a great year she's had. And her, of course, her associate, Raquel Gonzalez, who now is really standing on her own 2 feet as well. Now, looking to give a prediction for this match, I really think that it's very difficult with both War Games matches this year, but last year, the Faces picked up the victory, and normally the go-home show tells you a lot. The Faces, in a unique twist, have the advantage going into this match, which is very interesting because you don't usually get that. It's usually the heel team that has the advantage. There's a very difference to seeing the baby faces here, so it makes me wonder what's going to happen to balance this out. And like I said, I think Indy Hartwell will find multiple ways to try and get in this match, and it could lead to a 5-on-4 rather than a 4-on-4, which could make an exciting, fun twist to the match as well. Of course, then the baby faces still have to overcome the odds somehow. But of course, the baby faces are standing tall at the end of NXT, and I have a famous rule with WWE. They love to do 50-50 booking. I have a feeling that the heels are going to come out victorious, and here's my reasoning for it. I believe that Rhea Ripley will eventually be going to Raw or SmackDown. I know that she's staying in NXT for now. I still believe she could be a Royal Rumble winner, so I don't think she needs to accomplish anything more in NXT. Shotzi Blackheart can get her revenge on Candice LeRae another day. This could be a great place to, put the War Games together, have a great match, but she still needs to get revenge coming out of this show. You can't just close off every chapter at one takeover. Io Shirai is the NXT Women's Champion, and you need to build some challengers. So what is a great way to do that? For that team to lose. Toni Storm, for me, I think is someone that's going to be an NXT Women's Champion going forth. And I think that her turning heel, this is the platform. This is the place for her to really make a stand and to take that into her own hands and become the #1 contender. I would like to see the heel side pick up the victory here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. Like I said, both of these matches are very difficult to predict, but I'm going to make the prediction for Team Candice to pick up the victory, because when I look at them, if they all lose, I'm not sure where they kind of go next. I think here there is more to gain for the heels to pick up the victory than it is for the baby faces. The only one here that I think loses out is Shotzi Blackheart, and I think she can get that revenge at a later date. Let's go for the men's takeover War Games match then, shall we? We've got, of course, the Undisputed Era, and that doesn't need any explanation. We've got Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong against Pat McAfee, the brand. Of course, we have Pat himself. We've got the NXT Tag Team Champions of Oney, Lorcan and Danny Burch. And we've got, of course, Pete Dunne. And I must admit here, I do think that this has been put together pretty well. I think that Pat McAfee's stable makes more logical sense than what some thrown together stables have done over the years, and I do like the way it's been put, and clearly Pat McAfee is being used here to try and elevate these other three talents to get them higher up the NXT rankings, and they've definitely made a difference to Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, now the NXT Tag Team Champions. Danny Burch suits being a heel so much. It really suits his character. It makes you wonder why he's been a babyface for so long in NXT. Pete Dunne, for me, I still have a little bit of difficulty believing, though, that he is a part of this stable, or that this stable belongs together long term. That's my struggle with it. But I'm sure Ridge Holland was meant to be the original guy in this spot. But of course, he got injured, and of course, he's not going to be a part of War Games. But looking at it, the Undisputed Era, they've gone a bit of a rocky road as well. 2020 has not really been the best year for this stable, especially in recent times. There has been teasers as well that Adam Cole will go babyface, Kyle O'Reilly will go babyface, but Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish will remain heel. Does that mean the UE need to break up? It's hard to tell really what they're going to do here. And I think it is basically one of two stories here. Either Pat McAfee gets what he's got coming to him and the revenge comes, and the Undisputed Era, in a time of real difficulty where they're kind of struggling as a group, come back together and pick up that victory, or there is an implosion of the UE in the War Games structure. So which side is it going to fall on? And for me, as I say, it is very difficult to predict, because for a UE, it's hard to know as a stable where they go from here, because they've done everything they need to do in NXT. The only thing they haven't done is fight each other, and I think that is a logical step that you could take with the UE going forward. But I just find it hard to predict that Pat McAfee will win inside the War Games structure. It just doesn't make sense. When you've looked over the classic years of War Games, where you go back to WCW and someone gets in there, that shouldn't be winning, they're usually the one that's tapping out, they're usually the one that's giving up. And I just feel on this night, the Undisputed Era will come together and everyone will be going, I'm happy. I just think that the UE do pick up the victory. Unless there's another ace up the sleeve for McAfee, like I say, it's totally plausible. I will predict that the Undisputed Era will pick up the victory. So that's my predictions for you there for NXT TakeOver War Games. I must admit, for a TakeOver, I'm less confident than usual. I usually come into a lot of NXT TakeOver predictions videos and I said to myself, I'm fairly confident I've got at least 4 out of 5 here. This is the first show that I can turn around and say to you that I'm only really confident on 2 matches out of the 5 that I'm sure of the victories of what is going to go down. So we'll have to wait and see this Sunday. It does make it an exciting show that makes it more unpredictable, and hopefully means that you'll get a nice glowing review coming from me when you next hear from me talk about NXT on this channel, which make sure to look out for as well, because I'm sure I'll throw a review early next week, probably on the Monday, as it's usually UK time, Greenwich Mean Time. It's a bit of a struggle to come and sit up and watch these shows live and then do a review afterwards. But so make sure to keep an eye on Monday on the channel. I will throw a NXT TakeOver War Games review for you. So make sure to keep an eye out and look out for that. But plenty more videos coming up this week as well. Of course, the Q&A is on Sunday. If you are into all wrestling like AEW, check out some videos as well involving that. So yeah, make sure to go and do that. Of course, winter is coming. The review is available on the channel as well. But that's all for me. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, share with a friend. Enjoy NXT TakeOver War Games. It should be an exciting show. Like I say, let me know your predictions in the comments below. I look forward to interacting with you. Take care. Have yourselves a great day. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube.